Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, DJ Youngs. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. As I say all the time, this is a podcast that you can listen to anytime, any place, anywhere. So I just want to cover all of those salutations. Greetings, everybody. I am pumped today. Today is the 17th now when I'm recording this, but when you hear this, it'll be the 18th. So it'll be Thursday of the week where a lot is going on. So much is going on, it's almost impossible to keep up. I know SportsCenter, ESPN, things of that nature, all of those shows are doing like live updates all day on what's going on in the NFL because things are just changing for teams left and right. People are getting signed left and right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run down what we're going to look like today as far as a show, and I'm definitely going to try to update you on as much stuff as possible. As a matter of fact, I got my phone on my lap right now, so if anything comes about while we're in the show, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to let you know what will be breaking news at that time, all right? So as always, I'm going to start the show off with the new news, which is pretty much everybody who's getting signed, all the free agency moves, things of that nature. Then I want to get into, did I underestimate the Patriots last episode? I had the whole dynasty change of power short, and now they have made a lot of moves. Belichick and team are over there doing so much that I have to give them their own segment. Okay, I have to see if I underestimate them and just talk about this Patriots shopping spree. All right. Next, I'm going to do a little mock draft, more so just analyzing what teams need in those positions that they are in the first round, and then where most people, most of the experts, people that have been doing it longer than I've probably been alive, are thinking that they might, go as far as their picks. I'll discuss that. And then last, I want to have a little fun. My last segment is going to be some football fun facts. I found a good, credible site that I thought has some interesting facts. I didn't read a lot of them. I just made sure that they were legit and interesting enough for us to talk about, teach you some things, teach me some things, and hear my reactions to, all right? So definitely want to stick around and hear all of those things, man. But let's just get right into the news because we have to talk about all of these pickups, all of these signings. So many, like I said, that it was almost impossible to keep up. I'm going to start with the Bengals, okay? So Cincinnati Bengals had a couple signs this week. And, of course, I might miss a few because there's so many. If I did, I'm sorry, but you definitely want to listen so you can possibly hear your team or people that's in your division moves they're making. But the Bengals, one of the first signings they did was the former Steeler cornerback Mike Hilton. They got him on a 4-year deal. He did have his career high last year of 3 interceptions in that season, which was dope. He also had 3 sacks, a forced fumble. So that is a good pickup. I think he's great. He came out of Ole Miss undrafted. He's been in the league for 4 seasons. I think he has the experience. He's going to help move that needle possibly for the Bengals. Very interesting pick. Also, Bengals pickup. Excuse me. They got ex-Cowboy cornerback Chidobe Awuzie on a 3-year, $21.75 million deal with $7.5 million guaranteed. He did miss 8 games last season due to injury, but even with that being the case, he still almost had 40 tackles and a fumble recovery, 1 interception as well, which he's recorded an interception every year that he's been in the league for, since he got drafted in 2017 by Dallas in the second round. All right, he's also out of Colorado University, so shout out to those Buffaloes. Last, they also picked up Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was formerly a Saint defensive end on a 4-year, $60 million deal they got him for. He is a good pickup as well. He had 13.5 sacks, 20 in his career since he got drafted in 2017, third round by New Orleans. He had 1 forced fumble last season, 25 tackles. So he's someone that was, working real hard on that line with Cameron Jordan, and now going to the Bengals, who we see are amping up their defense. Very good to see. That's the 3 main players that I saw they get. We're going to move over to the Jags, because the Jaguars made some good moves as well. First up, they signed Tyson Alula from the Steelers, the DN from the Steelers, on a 2-year, $6 million deal. Last season he did, play decent for them. He had 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, played well for the Steelers. And, he's moving, making his way. He got drafted in 2010 in the first round. He's out of Cal. Good kid. He's got I say kid, but he's 33, about to turn 34 before the season start. But he definitely has some more time left on his meter, so I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing over there. It's another team trying to amp up their defense, make sure they're ready. I think they're going to go more offense in the draft, so they're looking at the trade block and the free agency market as far as it comes to defense, as we see, because next up they signed former Seahawk cornerback Shaquille Griffin on a 3-year, $44.5 million deal with $29 million guaranteed. And, most of us know Shaquille Griffin out of UCF. He played with his twin brother, who also went to go play for the Seahawks. Shaquille was drafted in 2017, third round. So, a fair pick for them. But he also was active as he played for them. Just this past season, he had 3 interceptions. All right. Another good kid that is young. He's actually young, only 25, making his way to go further. I believe maybe the Jags are trying to get back that strong defensive presence they had a couple years ago that got them far into the playoffs. Is that what we're seeing? Is that the moves that they're possibly making? Now, the one that might confuse a few people is this offensive pickup. They did sign Marvin Jones Jr. Formerly on the Lions, on a 2-year, $14.5 million deal with $9.2 million guaranteed. The only reason I say this one is a little weird because we know they need to get some weapons, especially for what they have coming in, possibly in this draft with that first round pick. But I thought, like I just mentioned, that they would do more like receiver shopping and things of that nature in the draft. Get some young guys. Nothing against Marvin Jones. He's 31, just turned 31, and it could have been him in Detroit, but he just doesn't flash off the screen enough for me. Just last season he did do what he needed to do because I think he was like the number 1 receiver in Detroit. But he had 76 receptions on 115 targets for almost 1,000 yards on the season. He averaged 12.9 yards a catch, 9 touchdowns. The impressive part to me is that, throughout his career since being drafted in 2012 in the 5th round by Cincinnati, he's never fumbled. He has no fumbles on his career. So at least he's very secure, and he accounts for a lot of third downs catches that happen for Detroit. So could they have just been trying to get them a third down weapon and then looking to get bigger playmakers in the future? Quite possibly. I can see that happening. Moving on, the New York Jets, who is a team that has a lot of building to go and invest into, as we all know. But they signed ex-Bengal DN Carl Lawson on a 3-year, $45 million deal. A little weird too, as well, just because I mentioned earlier that the Bengals got Trey Hendrickson. So is it that, and they actually paid more for him? So is it that they were ready to get rid of Lawson? Was things not connected in the background? Why not just keep your guy? But he does have $30 million guaranteed on this deal with the Jets. This past season with the Bengals, he had 36 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So, fair. Drafted back in 2017, 4th round out of Auburn. This is, him coming off of that rookie deal, I believe. So, I guess that's who they got there. They also got a big receiver in ex-Titan Corey Davis, 3 years, $37.5 million. Okay, and I mentioned in the last episode that Corey Davis might have been a little outshined on the Titans by everybody else that was a weapon on the team between Henry, AJ Brown, players like that. But he still had a decent season. He had 5 touchdowns on the season, 65 receptions for almost 1,000 yards. He did have 1 fumble, unfortunately, but other than that, everything checks out to where he's a solid receiver. He did come out of West Michigan in 2017 in the 1st round. He was the 5th pick overall, so that speaks for itself. That was a time ago. I know, what have you done for me lately? But, he's been on a playoff team. He's been doing well enough, as you see. He got shut down this past postseason, being that he had no catches, no touchdowns or yards. But I'm pretty sure he can make a little change there in New York, especially for that organization, which I know they will need. All right. The Broncos. Denver Broncos made a few moves over to on the defensive side. They always want to be dominant most of the time that we know about, outside of back in the good old days, I guess. But, over the past century, the Broncos have been, if anything, known for their defense. All right, even when Peyton went there, if it wasn't for their defense, they would have clearly not won the game. As a matter of fact, the MVP was Von Miller, defensive player in that Super Bowl that they went to. So that tells you what it looks like. But they did sign former Washington football team defensive back Ronald Darby on a 3-year, $30 million deal, including $19.5 million guaranteed to him. Last season, Ronald had 55 tackles. No sacks. As a matter of fact, he doesn't have any sacks at all on his resume, so clearly he's not the type to go in after the quarterback. But unfortunately, it seems like his hands have not been able to catch a ball as well. He had 0 interceptions last season, 0 interceptions in the postseason for Washington just going this past season. And but over his career since being drafted in 2015, he does hold 8 interceptions total. He got drafted 2nd round out of FSU to Buffalo back in 2015. So, if you didn't know who Ron Darby is, now you know. Of course, I'm telling you this information about when they came out, what school they went to, because I know everybody might not know, especially if you're not someone that keeps up all the way through sports from college to high school. College to the NFL, which I know a lot of people don't. It's kind of tough to keep up with both. That's a lot, especially when you're still trying to work and things of that nature. They also re-signed defensive tackle Shelby Harris, 3 years, $27 million. He clearly is someone that I guess they have been satisfied with, outside of him being injured. I believe he had knee issues toward the end of the season last year. He did have 32 tackles total, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble on the season. Came in 2014, 7th round out of Illinois State. All right. That's the Broncos. Now, those people that I got most, again, I'm not mentioning any of the Patriots pickup because I'm just leaving that all for the next segment because we just got to talk about everything they're doing, all right? Okay. Cowboys. Cowboys re-signed cornerback C.J. Goodwin on a 2-year, $3.5 million deal with $2 million guaranteed. Seems pretty small, but clearly that means they've been happy with his production, mainly possibly on special teams. I know he's a good special team player. Been on a couple different units for them. Notably, he got that onside kick in the Atlanta game last season that helped them win the game. But, in total in the regular season, I know he's part of the, he gets subbed in as well. I do not believe he was a full-time starter. So, still good to get re-signed, I'm sure. But he had 9 tackles on the season, no sacks, no interceptions. So, nothing too crazy, but getting the job done. He did go undrafted out of California. This is his he's had 5 seasons that he's been in the league, so he has the experience. Definitely, I'm pretty sure keeping him as a option or continuous special teams player. Minnesota Vikings, they got them a solid pickup as they signed ex-Giant defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson on a 2-year, $22 million deal, including $16 million fully guaranteed for him. That's great to see. I'm surprised that the Giants didn't keep him. Very productive individual on the D-line for them. 49 tackles, 3.5 sacks. So that's pretty good on that end. He also has 4 pass blocks. So, look, that's somebody that's not only getting to the quarterback, but get those hands up and mess up the passing game for him. He came out of Alabama, so, that's the NFL factory there. In 2017, in the second round to the Giants. So, unfortunately, lost him, but I'm pretty sure they got some plans that they might have in their back pocket for what the future holds for their organization without him. Now, the Washington football team, they did sign ex-Dolphin quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick on a 1-year, $10 million. Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going anywhere. If I'm not mistaken, this is like his 9th team since he got drafted back in 2005. Yes, 2005. So yeah, he turns 39 this year during the season, pushing that for them 40 marker. But he's been here. He's been on the teams. He's been solid. He got drafted in the 7th round out of Harvard. For people that didn't know, so smart kid. Or at least don't we all associate people being smart if they went to school like Harvard. Don't know if they just got in because of whatever, but we know that Harvard is the place. So not only is he an athlete, this guy got brains on him, which is, I'm pretty sure, a big part of why he's so significant in football as a quarterback. Because I believe I mentioned it last episode that you are elite if you have athleticism and the brain to play, especially as a quarterback. I'm someone that did start off my football career as a little kid playing quarterback before I moved over to receiver in high school. But throughout those years as quarterback, you had to know everything. You had to be able to read. You had to be able to see, make the right choices. Shoot, even just when it comes to athleticism, sometimes you got to understand how to actual think about what you're doing, as far as how hard, how far, the throw's going to go, how to give to certain players that can handle. If they got soft hands, they might not be able to catch certain bullet pass. And this is all in a split of a second, which we all have seen Ryan Fitzpatrick do. We've seen what he did in Tampa Bay when, they couldn't decide to go with him or Jameis. Then the same thing happened while he was in Miami. They didn't know what to do with him. He was actually doing just fine before they put Tua in. So I think Washington made the right decision for the organization. We didn't know what they were going to do in the quarterback position, but I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is an actual great fit for them. Whole season. I don't know if they plan on using him as a trade or still getting somebody in the draft or anything like that, but in my opinion, run with Fitzmagic. I want to see Fitzmagic go for a whole season playing on the squad. Matter of fact, I bet they could even have a great chance of being in the playoffs. Which they just came off playoffs, so boom. All right, that's big news. Who else we got here signed? Oh yeah, Titans signed ex-Steeler, who I mentioned in probably multiple episodes now, a linebacker, Bud Dupree. Okay, now they signed him, and I haven't really seen numbers as far as how much money he's getting. But hold on, let me see if I missed something real quick. No, still no updates on that. I just see that they came to agree on terms, but hey, like I said, this is a great pick. He got drafted in 2015, first round, to Pittsburgh out of Kentucky. On his career, he has 39.5 sacks. I don't think too many people have more than that are in the league. If I remember correctly, I think I mentioned it that he was maybe 8th or 9th in the league right now as far as how many sacks it comes to. He also has an interception on his record. But just talk about this past season, because we all know the Steelers had quite a great season for themselves. He had 31 tackles, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Why didn't they keep him? I'm not really sure. Didn't have anything to do with me. I don't work for him, but hey, best of luck to him in Tennessee. Tennessee, they got things going for him. So we'll see what they do with that. I do understand that the deal apparently is supposed to pay him more than $16 million per year. So that says something. All right. Rams signed former Chicago linebacker Leonard Floyd on a 4-year, $64 million deal. He had a career high of 10.5 sacks just this past season, which is great. Again, another person that I'm surprised that they let him go. He got drafted back in 2016, first round of Chicago out of Georgia University. Still a young man, 28 years old, turned 29 at the beginning of the season. Still got some push in him. But yeah, 10.5 sacks in the season. That's crazy. 55 tackles total. He had 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and that was all the season. So he was balling over there on that line, helping out the squad. I think that's a good pickup for them. I mean, clearly, you just heard those numbers. Moving on, I'm going to go to the Raiders. The Raiders' big signing was to cornerback Cam Sutton. They re-signed him. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the Steelers. My bad. I meant to ex-Raven linebacker Yannick Ngakoue. All right, 2-year, $26 million deal. He had 23 tackles on the season, 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. That's a good stat line for a season, especially a guy that just came out in 2016, 3rd round out of Maryland. Okay, that was a great one. Adding somebody on that line to help be aggressive. I mean, shoot, I feel like they've been reaching to find somebody ever since they let go of you-know-who. Shall not be mentioned. They might hear me. No, I'm playing. Now the Steelers, which is the one I meant, was Cam Sutton. So they signed Cam Sutton to a 2-year, $9 million deal, which is a solid deal. They re-signed him. Again, somebody that must have been happy with his production. I believe this is coming off his rookie deal because they did draft him in 2017, the 3rd round out of Tennessee. He had 30 tackles on this season, 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Pretty good there. Yeah, that's all I got for him. Young guy, 26-year-old, so they sign him and see what he do for them. I'm sure if he stands out, they'll keep him yet again or move him along, hopefully. Wish him all the best, especially with health. All right. Now, Ravens. This was one that happened probably before most of these. This was earlier in the week. I mean, before, but after my episode, maybe the same day or something. But the Ravens signed ex-Giant guard Kevin Zettler, 3-year, $22.5 million. All right. Zettler was drafted by Cincinnati in 2012 in the 1st round out of Wisconsin. Solid production, okay? This past year, he out of 1,003 snaps, he only had 4 penalties and 2 sacks allowed. So there's somebody that they definitely got there to hopefully protect Lamar safely as he is ripping and running the field. Okay. The biggest one that I believe was a huge deal was the Trent Richardson signing. Okay. So Trent Richardson was probably the number 1 offensive lineman on the market. And with him being the number 1 offensive lineman on the market, of course that means your team does not want him to go. So the 49ers and Trent Williams agreed to a 6-year, $138 million signing. Okay, and this makes him the highest paid O-lineman in history, man. I'm so excited for that, brother. You know, he's 32 and just got set for another 6 years. Drafted in 2010, 1st round, 4th overall pick to Washington out of Oklahoma, but now he's in San Francisco, living it up with the biggest deal of all time. Very productive left tackle, that is. And I mean, if you don't know, tackle in general is a tough position to play. So that's great that they had to get somebody secure on this past season. 957 snaps. He did have 10 penalties and allowed 4 sacks. But other than that, I mean, his production over his career is just great, just amazing. So happy to see that. Good luck to him. Good luck to San Francisco. I hope everybody gets back healthy there because we just want to see all of them just be successful again. They literally was just in the Super Bowl. I want to see that happen again. All right. Coming in toward the end here, Dolphins signed ex-Patriot defensive tackle Adam Butler on a 2-year deal. I haven't really seen anywhere anybody talk about the exact money that he'll be getting, but excuse me, the Dolphins definitely are trying to vamp up that defensive line. Tampa Bay re-signed tight end Rob Gronkowski, of course, on a 1-year, $10 million deal. So out of $10 million, as I've said in pretty much every episode when we're talking about free agency and that Rob was up because he only had a 1-year deal, I said that we all know that him and Tom is a package deal, so he clearly wasn't going nowhere. It's either play again or I'm retiring. So they signed him again, so he'll be back. And that beside, I'm glad to see that. I mean, we're watching history here, as you can tell, between Tom Brady by himself, Rob Gronkowski by himself, and then them together. All right, that's just icing on the cake for all of us. Cardinals signed ex-Bengal wide receiver AJ Green to a 1-year deal that could be worth up to $8.5 million with $6 million guaranteed. Now this one is exciting because AJ Green has unfortunately been stuck in Cincinnati, and I mean he was still there to be productive. They drafted him in 2011, the 4th overall pick out of Georgia, and as good as he is, and we got to see him, I believe he accounts for Cincinnati franchise record. Well, second in the record as for the yards and touchdowns for them, and receiving yards and stuff. But it's just like, of course, we want to see him get past the first round of the playoffs, right? How many times do we see him and Andy get to the first round, get knocked out, and now Andy left, and it was just him. He got the new guy, Joe Burrow, which hopefully they're getting somebody for Joe now, but now he gets to, go his ways and try with a team with more weapons, which in this case, I mean, this is a team that we know is looking for more weapons in the first place, right? The Cardinals receiving core, I mean, they have Larry, they have Hopkins, but I knew they needed someone else, which I believe this is the right guy to go get. All right. Other big news, Saints re-signed quarterback Jameis Winston on a 1-year, $12 million deal. 5.5 of that is guaranteed, and the rest is in incentives. But clearly this means that they were, filling Jameis. I'm pretty, last year when they signed him on that 1-year deal, I'm pretty sure it's like, hey, you got to show me something. I mean, because Jameis was clearly known for being a turnover machine with his 88 interceptions that he's had in his career. But come in there, learn under Drew. I knew they probably suspected that it might have been Drew's last year, so they wanted to bring in somebody that they believe could possibly take over, which I believe they did think that. That's why they got him, and he must have. I don't know if he officially proved it because he only got to throw the ball 11 times while he was there, but they must have saw something that they like, and they want to give him a shot. And if it's a battle that he has to do in the preseason or anything like that to get the position, I actually think he might still win it. I think he has a good chance unless they do something weird like, I don't know, draft or sign another quarterback for him to compete with. But other than that, I think James is going to be their guy. I think New Orleans is a good city for him too, to be honest, and a good system there. But in case you don't know, Jameis Winston, he was drafted in 2015, first overall pick out of FSU. You should know him because he was in and out of the media, just football reasons and non-football reasons. But hey, he's come a long way. I definitely give him his props. I like him a lot. Okay. In other big news, and I left this one toward the last one because this was quite interesting. The Chiefs signed ex-Patriot left guard Joe Thuney on a 5-year, $80 million deal. The first 2 years he's guaranteed $32.5 million. And we knew they need to get some more protection on that O-line. This was a big deal. This is a great guy. Joe Thuney, on 980 snaps this past season, had only 3 penalties and 2 sacks allowed. Very productive guy. He did get drafted back in 2016, the 3rd round out of NC State to New England. So, New England, like I said, they talked about in the next segment and have a lot going on. Surprised they kind of let him go, but at the same time not, because everything they also picked up, which we will talk about next. Again, I couldn't say everybody that got picked up, but 3 more that I just want to throw out there that I came across was Jacoby Brissett. He's going to the Dolphins. right, on a 1-year deal. That's up to $7.5 million. It's been quiet for him all last season. You know, he didn't really play with the Colts. I think he had throwing the ball 8 times, got 2 completions last season. Didn't play in the postseason. But I mean, hey, overall, good kid. In his career, he got 31 touchdowns for somebody that, you know, has rarely got to start for a team, and now he's going to the Dolphins, I guess, to play behind Tua. Is that what they're going for? Is he supposed to learn? Is he supposed to just be a backup? Are they going to trade him in and out like they just did with him and Fitzpatrick? We will see. Also, Andy Dalton going to Chicago on a 1-year, $10 million deal, up to $13 million with incentives. Again, another interesting situation over there. I don't know why they keep talking about Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson with the Chicago, because I don't see that happening. But I mean, Mitchell Trubisky still, is he on the block? What are they going to do with Foles? Is Andy Dalton? Are they going to just see who can duke it out? Then one comes started and one they have a solid backup. I guess we'll see. Last one is, and this is the most interesting one, is Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor to the Houston Texans. 1-year deal up to $12.5 million. What does this mean? Does this mean he is there for security purpose? Does this mean because they want him to be there if Deshaun leaves and they get other weapons to help? Doubtful. But at the same time, you got to remember, the Texans have a high draft pick. So, I mean, they can get one of the quarterbacks if they want it. Why go for Tyrod? I guess we'll see. But, hey, I know that took a while. Sorry. I just wanted to get those out there. Teams that I'm surprised we didn't hear from thus far this week. The Colts, are they going to get Carson some weapons? The Eagles, what they're going to do there for defense? And the Panthers, I guess they're just going to rely on the draft. Who knows? But, hey, like I said, that's what I got for new news. Up next, we're definitely going to talk about if I underestimated the Patriots in my last episode and talk about this shopping spree they just went on. Okay? So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back. Welcome back to GSMC Football Podcast. This is DJ Young's first segment. Just giving y'all the new news as usual. So you caught up on most of the signings that happened during the first couple days of the free agency signing. You know, the first chance that everyone gets at them legally. So it's the first period for the legal tampering and when people kick off signing free agents. All right, you got the general of everybody else. I will be getting into the Patriots situation out there in Foxborough. Man, last episode they might have heard me talking a little mess, I guess. I just simply was stating that, you know, things may be transitioning. It might be all over for the Patriots, and it might be the new beginning of the Kansas City Chiefs. Nothing that ain't nobody else talking about, so I don't feel like it's out there. But just like I said it, and like I said, everybody else is saying it on all the TV shows. Hey, clearly they are hearing you. Foxborough being who they are. New England, the fans, the organization, everybody over there, having the stature that they've had for quite some time now. I don't think they took a liking to what happened this past season. Not being in the playoffs, not making a run at the championship. Most of them, if I can't speak for the fans, but clearly the organization got past getting with the release of Tom Brady. The fans might be heartbroken. Who knows? Especially after seeing him win that championship. But between Bill and team, I think they are out here trying to make a statement. They have had it with whatever us little personality folks are talking about here on these podcasts and more. The Patriots spent $81 million in bonuses and guaranteed money on the first day of legal tampering. The first day. That alone was more than they spent in free agency in 10 years. So they're speaking volumes here. They're telling you that they are doing what they need to do to get what they need to. Which, hey, they were one of the top 5 teams with cap room, but still, hey, they said we got deep pockets and we are going to use them. They are throwing the money out there. They are on the biggest shopping spree we've seen a team participate in years. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first kick it off by just saying the people that they've signed in the first 2 days, just kind of how I did in new news, and then I'm gonna get more deeper into what that team's gonna look like and what they could possibly be doing this season. All right. So first, they signed former Eagle defensive back Jalen Mills. Okay, Jalen Mills is one of the Eagles' top defensive backs. They signed him for 4 years, $24 million, $9 million guaranteed. Okay, just to give you some of his stats from just this past season, he has 74 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. Okay, that's a solid stat line for a defensive back that played in the NFC East. Okay, for sure. All right, if you don't know who Jalen Mills is, he was drafted back in 2016 to Philly in the 7th round from LSU. All right, it's a young kid. It's 26, just turned 26. Oh, I'm sorry, about to turn 27. 26, about to turn 27 next month. But hey, he has quick feet, man. He has good hands. Like I said, last season was the most, sacks, the 1.5 sacks all the time because they used him to get back there on a couple blitz moves. So will the Patriots use him that way? Possibly, because you're about to hear more about what they did on the defensive end and what they did with this defensive line. But yeah, he has good history as far as, he has 5 interceptions and even a touchdown for the team. So great pickup, Jalen Mills. I like him myself. Can't wait to see what all they will have to do with him. Now, another big one, which I think is the biggest one on the defensive side, they signed a former Raven, Matt Judon, for 4 years, $56 million, $32 million guaranteed. He has 34.5 sacks over his first 5 NFL seasons. This man is a beast, okay? He was drafted in 2016 to Baltimore in the 5th round out of Grand Valley State, okay? That's already exciting, a guy that didn't go to a huge program and was able to make it this far and make such a big name for himself. Just last season, 50 tackles on the season, 6 sacks alone, okay? 6 sacks by himself. He gets there. He gets it done. Matt Judon is that guy. The Patriots have definitely answered their pass rushing question mark that they've had, and got themselves a big name at that. They're not used to having big names like that, but they went, got somebody, bought someone. All right, that's a big pickup for them. Continuing on to the D line. All right, again, like I said, they're going off on this D line. All right, Patriots sign ex-Dolphin. Nose tackle Davon Gacho, 2 years, $16 million. All right, he has $9 million guaranteed on this deal. He's coming out of Miami, so clearly they know, how he plays. They must like what they see and how he handled his business for them. Also, he was limited to only play 5 games last season because he has a torn bicep. So I'm guessing, Patriots are pretty much expecting him to do better because prior to that, he only missed 1 game out of his first 3+ seasons. So they want to see what he can do. And even with the limited games, he still has 16 tackles in those games that he did play. He has 3 sacks throughout his career. He was drafted back in 2017, the 5th round to Miami out of LSU. A great school that brings in a lot of great defensive talent. All right, so that is cool. Still keeping it on the defensive side. Henry Anderson. Yes, from the Jets, Henry Anderson. This one was a little of a surprise, I guess. But they signed Henry Anderson to 2 years, $7 million. He's a defensive tackle. When he was with the Jets, I mean, he did okay. He had half of a sack, 42 tackles this past season. He has 11.5 sacks on his career once he got there, because he was drafted to Indiana with the Colts out of Stanford back in 2015. But once they got him to the Jets, he did start picking up to get to that amount of sacks in the first place. His productivity as well. But I think he'd definitely be a good hold guy, keep things from getting across, be someone that they can use advantageously for, run blocking and things of that nature. Okay, continuing on the D-line. Yes, like I told you, they are investing in this defense for sure. But I'm going to get to the offense. Oh, it gets better. All right. So, Patriots re-signed defensive lineman Dietrich Wise Jr. 4 years, $30 million with $10 million guaranteed. He has 14 sacks in his 4 seasons. He has, he's been on New England since he was drafted back in 2017 in the 4th round to him out of Arkansas. Just this past season, he had 49 tackles, 2.5 sacks, a fumble recovery. So I'm guessing they were pleased with what he has done for them lately, which is important, and they want to keep him around longer. But yeah, that's pretty much all 4 of those guys are defensive linemen that I just named. That might be their starting. We'll see. I believe that a couple guys, they just don't plan on coming back in that case or something of that nature, which makes sense. That's probably why I got there. But moving across the ball, going to the offensive side, all right. Pat signed another ex-Dolphin, center Ted Karras, on a 1-year, $4 million deal, which he was originally drafted by the Patriots. He was on the Patriots. They drafted him back in 2016 in the 6th round out of Illinois. Okay, and according to ESPN, somehow I got away from my article here. Oh man, 1 second. I don't know how that happened. Yes, now take me to where I was. Okay, yeah, here we go. So according to ESPN, like I said, he was originally drafted by them. They did try. The Patriots did attempt to sign him to a 2-year deal last offseason, but he elected to go with the 1-year deal in Miami, where he had more clear opportunity to start. I'm pretty sure it was up in the air. But as you can tell, this kind of means that this is foreshadowing that the center David Andrews is likely moving into free agency, and they won't get him back. So he obviously wanted to be a Patriot. Patriots want to keep him. He just wants to have a better opportunity to start. Makes sense. But now he's back. David's gone. He's back at center for them. And again, like I said, they do have him on a 2-year deal. No, 1-year deal, $4 million. So we'll see how that works. Now it gets interesting. Are you ready? The Patriots signed ex-Charger tight end Hunter Henry on a 3-year, $37.5 million deal, $25 million guaranteed. Okay, Hunter Henry was one of the top, pretty much players in the free agency market, not just tight ends, but just period. Okay, he had 60 receptions last year, averaged 10.2 yards per catch. He had 4 touchdowns. This guy did not fumble since he's been drafted in 2016 to which was San Diego Chargers, now LA Chargers. Out of Arkansas, he's only fumbled twice, so that's great ball security still in that guy. Throughout his career, 196 receptions, over 2,000 yards. He gets it done. Very proficient. He started making a name for himself lately, I believe, because of course he's just not up there with a lot of top tight ends that we hear, the Kittle, the Grunks, and all that. But hey, I think he's next up for sure. So that was a good grab off the market, and on top of that, They also signed former Tennessee Titan tight end Jonnu Smith. They signed Smith on a deal for 4 years, $50 million. This is another great. So they just signed the two top tight ends that was on the free agency market. All right. So Jonnu Smith, what his stats look like? Last season, 41 receptions, almost 500 yards, 10.9 yards averaged, 8 touchdowns. So he is a red zone beast. Okay, getting it done for sure, and he has a rushing touchdown. I like what we see. Drafted in 2017 in the 3rd round at Tennessee out of FIU. This is someone that is also going to make the Patriots a lot better. And listen, I mean, I'm going to talk about it right after I get to these last few people that were signed. But that is 2 tight ends on the Patriots. 2 dominant tight ends on the Patriots. Think about the last time you saw that there. All right. Now, given Cam Newton, because, like I said in the last episode, they re-signed Cam, giving Cam Newton some more weapons. Nelson Aguilar. All right, Patriots signed Nelson Aguilar, the former Raider, to a 2-year, $26 million deal. Nelson Aguilar was a great deep threat for the Raiders this past season. 48 receptions on 82 targets, 896 yards, 8 touchdowns. His longest was 85 yards. Okay, look, this is what they need. You got your middle of the field tight ends, I just said. You got your outside deep threats. They are getting who they need. Aguilar was drafted to Philly, 1st round back in 2015 out of USC, but clearly they got him out of here last season. They weren't really feeling it. He was known for, dropping balls. That was a big social media and talk of the town because that was going on. But the Raiders gave him a chance, and he shined. He made the best. I love when I see situations like that where you see someone, get down or, is in a bad situation. They get somewhere else and they show out. I love it. Nelson Aguilar to the Patriots. Great pickup. Excuse me. Another wide receiver they picked up is Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne, the former 49er, the receiver they got. He has a 3-year, $22.5 million deal with the Patriots. Last year he had 49 receptions on 74 targets for 667 yards. That's averaging 13.6 yards a catch. That is 2 touchdowns he got as well in this past season. He went undrafted out of East Washington, but it's his 5th season in the NFL, which is impressive, as you know, people that pay attention. But he has had a decent career so far. 137 receptions out of 219, over 1,700 yards, and 11 touchdowns. 1 fumble in his career, none last season. Again, we know the Patriots for having receiver. The biggest receiver that I could think of in my time is definitely Randy Moss that got on the Patriots. But other than that, they don't have big name receivers, but they make them big. They use them the right way. They use them to attack however they need in whatever schemes, because the Patriots aren't a team that you could just, this is what they do. No, the Patriots will run, throw. They will do whatever they need to do to get a win, which made him such a great partnership with Tom Brady, because that's also how he thinks. All right. Sometimes, if you really think about it, being what we just saw happen in Tampa Bay, I believe the Patriots way was more of the Brady way at times, if you really pay attention to it. But hey, like I said, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar got some receivers. We got two of the top tight ends really in the league, also on the squad. Wow. They're making moves. Those are a lot of great players. To kind of put that in perspective, those for the first 2 days, the Patriots spent $137.5 million in guaranteed money on those first 2 days. All right, that's crazy. That not only is it crazy just to start off in the free agency market opening up, but that's crazy for the Patriots. It's probably like the last people anybody had on their list doing something like that. But hey, they again, like I said, they are making the moves. They heard what we said, and they are doing what they need to do so that they can compete in that division, especially with Buffalo. All right, because Buffalo is not the team to play with. They have, and just going off of what they're just doing with this tight ends, the Patriots have had the NFL's lowest pass catching production from tight ends over the past 2 seasons. So ever since Gronk left, it's been downhill from there. It's been downhill from there. But man, looking at Jonnu Smith, looking at Hunter Henry, that combo, like I said, where have you seen it before? Okay, well, first they did it with Daniel Graham and Benjamin Watson, but the more recent one was Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Rodgers, and they was tearing it up when Tom Brady had those two. And another thing is, like I said, we don't know if Cam Newton is the starting quarterback. From what I can tell, based off the money they gave him, all that kind of stuff, he's going to have to fight to be it. I don't know if they're going to draft somebody or do what they need to, and Cam's just going to be there to help. But when was Cam most successful? When did he have that killer year? When did he go to the Super Bowl? When him and Greg Olsen was tearing up the middle of the field. Now he has two. You combine what Cam did, what Cam was good at with his tight ends, along with what the Patriots did in the past with theirs, and you might have a full-on mess to clean up over there. They are definitely going to make a run in AFC, and I don't think they're done. Like I said, that was the first 2 days. That was the first 2 days on what all happened, and I think they got a lot more room to grow, a lot more to do. Cam having a receiver coming out the backfield as well, that helped. I don't know what they're going to do with James White or not. That has not been reported, but that's definitely keep. I do know James White is in the interest of Tampa Bay, and I wonder why, because we know what's going on there, right? But yeah, man, Patriots. To answer the question, did I underestimate them? Well, being that the conversation in question was around dynasties, no. I still think they're no longer the dynasty they were. But are they back to being a contender? Did they decide, no, we're not about to be that team that was good at some point, and then now it's going to be quiet for years, and we're going to be struggling, and we're going to end up being one of the worst teams, getting top picks and having a draft and try? Nah, they don't got time for that. Bill ain't getting no younger. Robert Kraft not getting any younger. They want to continue winning now. So I think that's what they're working on. They're working on now. Think about the 1-year deals I just mentioned, things of that nature. Those are people, yes, you're trying to test out, but at the same time, it's people that you can rely on, people that they can count on. Some people that is going to get the job done this year as they try to make a push. Do I think they're going to win their division? That's tough. Buffalo is still a beast of a team over there, and it's definitely going to take a lot more to knock them off that ship. Okay, they're not there yet, but like I said, I seriously doubt they're done. I seriously doubt. In the next segment, I'm gonna talk about the draft and what's to come about that. But based off what they got right now, it's not happening. No, if I was to bet on it, I give them at most still making it to the playoffs. Not winning the division, but they can make it to the playoffs. I really like what they did there on defense. Matt Judon, like, come on, that impressive. Okay, straight impressive. But we will see. I didn't underestimate them. I wasn't wrong about the dynasty part, but did I talk a little bit too much on maybe making it sound like they are no more? I did, and that's where I have to bite my tongue now. We are definitely about to see what they do for the rest of the week. I can't wait to update at the end of this week when I do my next episode, so we can learn more about what they have going on and what's going around the league. Like I said, there's still a few teams that are quiet that we expect to hear more from. But out of those guys there, that's a done deal. Patriots, good job. That's all I can say. Good job. Can't wait to see what y'all going to do over there for sure. Keep Cam. Let Cam start. And that's just me being biased at this point because I like Cam. But, hey, there we go. That's me talking about the Patriots shopping spree. It's time for a quick break. Up next, I'm going to discuss the draft. Talk about some of these mock drafts, who they have going certain places, things of that nature, the rumors and more. Coming up next. All right, stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching.
Hey!
The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
At it again. Welcome to the GSMC Football Podcast. I hope you enjoyed that quick little break. We have been talking about quite a few things, man. It's the off season, it's free agency season, it's close to draft season. It started off talking about the new news, talking about what's going on, who all got signed, where they went, how much they're getting paid. Moved on to talk about specifically what's going on with the Patriots, because they did such a huge thing the first 2 days. They came out with the biggest bang, dropping $137.5 million in guaranteed money. Crazy numbers, making big moves so that they can definitely be in the race moving forward. But, you know, I always like to balance things out a little bit and try to give a touch even on what's going on NCAA-wise, going on with the draft, just so that we're not just only leaning on the NFL. So, I mean, even though this is talking about the NFL, I want to kind of talk about the draft, specifically more on who's involved in it. But I want to say, you know, give you guys the idea of what the order's looking like, who all even has a first-round draft pick, because not everyone do, and who a couple of the creators of mock drafts picked to go there. All right, so the 2021 NFL draft will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, with the first round on April 29th, second and third rounds on April 30th, while the 4th through 7th will be on May 1st. All of this will air on ESPN. Okay. Usually most people like myself only watch the first round, then maybe get a little taste of the second, third round. But, you know, we're watching to see who goes first round, you know, those big names, see where they go, because those are going to be usually the ones that make the biggest effect on the league, okay? So before I get to who's going to these places or could be going to these places, I'm going to just let you know where we're looking at for as far as this order of the picks. Now, you know, with those dates I just gave you, that means we're a little bit over a month till we get there, 43 days to be specific, till the draft. But pick number 1 will be going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who went 1-15 this season, beating out the 2-14 New York Jets. We all thought it was going to be the Jets because it just seemed like that's where we were going with this. But no, Jacksonville got it. And Jets are number 2. Number 3 is the Miami Dolphins. At first, it was, that pick originally belonged to the Houston Texans, who went 4-12, but they had made the trade in last year, I believe that was. They got Miami this pick. Crazy, yes, but the Dolphins will get that, which would be great for Tua. They need to get somebody that is going to make a difference there. Number 4, Atlanta Falcons. Number 5, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 6, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 7, Detroit Lions. Number 8, Carolina Panthers. Number 9, Denver Broncos. 10, the Cowboys. 11, New York Giants. 12, San Francisco 49ers. 13, Los Angeles Chargers. 14, Minnesota Vikings. 15, New England Patriots. 16, Arizona Cardinals. 17, Las Vegas Raiders. 18, Miami Dolphins, second pick. That's what their original pick is. 19, Washington Football Team. 20, Chicago Bears. 21, Indianapolis Colts. 22, Tennessee Titans. 23, originally the Seattle position belongs to the New York Jets, so it's their second pick of this first round. 24, Pittsburgh Steelers. 25, originally the LA Rams pick that belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they get a second pick after their first overall pick, which is good for them. 26, Cleveland Browns. 27, Baltimore Ravens. 28, New Orleans Saints. 29, Green Bay Packers. 30, Buffalo Bills. 31, Kansas City. And 32, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Alright, those two Super Bowl teams there at the end, per usual. But that is what the first round looks like. Okay? Which is great. As far as, if you're Jacksonville, for sure, get the first overall, and you get you another one toward the end. The Jets going second and get them another one toward the end. So two teams that really need those picks got them. Miami, blessed to see that third pick due to the Texans and their terrible blunders, which also means they don't have a pick. So the Texans, the Rams, and the Seahawks are three teams that do not have a first round pick. Not terrible for the Seahawks and Rams, but when it comes to the Texans, what were y'all thinking? Put all your eggs in the basket, as they say. I don't know. Hey, but anyways, hey man, let's talk about some of these mocks. All right, let's talk about where people got people going. Now, the first one, I've said it. Everyone else saying it. It's, I guess, what we can call a no-brainer. If it doesn't happen, something went wrong. There was a glitch. We've seen people like Steve Harvey say the wrong names for the winners of stuff. That's what we would assume if we do not hear. The pick is in. First pick of the NFL, the 2021 NFL Draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars pick Trevor Lawrence, Clemson. If that's not said, I don't know what's going to happen. They're going to break the draft. That's what's going to happen. They would break the draft, because then the Jets are going to have to, everybody underneath them are going to have to change what the heck they do, except for maybe a few people who have certain people they have their eyes on. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have been at the bottom when it comes to quarterback productivity for the longest. Like, we thought they had something with the stash guy. I can't remember his name. Anybody else, I don't even know if they're relevant. I think Nick Foles was there for a little while. He was, and then he moved along, went to Chicago. I thought that was their best bet, but outside of that, they need this quarterback. They need the best quarterback coming into this draft, which is Trevor Lawrence, who ranks top in almost everything. He did miss a little bit this past season due to coronavirus, and unfortunately. But hey, I'm looking at Tankathon. I'm looking at ESPN's Todd McShay's draft. Both of those, if not everyone that you can Google anywhere, has Trevor Lawrence as going number 1. Okay, so not much to say there. Like I said, if that's not the case, then don't know what will be. All right, number two pick overall, going to the Jets. Mock drafts have Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. I heard good things about him. It makes sense. They expect him to go number 2 overall. Whether or not it's the Jets making it happen because, they don't know what to do with Sam Darnold or, he's there to replace him. Apparently, this will be the guy coming in either to replace him or be his backup. That would mean, though, they probably, if they do get him, I don't think it'll be a backup. I do think that they may use Sam Darnold for a trade. Send him somewhere else. Somebody would definitely get him, I'm sure. What could they get for Sam Darnold? That's a good question. Who knows? Because I was about to say, his just productivity, ever since he came in, that first round back in 2018, he's been, sorry about that. He's been semi-productive, nothing too crazy. His rating is about 78.6 overall throughout his career. He doesn't score. He has 45 touchdowns, but clearly we see based off his winning record, losing record, it's not looking too snazzy. So don't be surprised if that is the case, that they are just get rid of him. I don't know why they don't just do it now, since it's not like anyone's going to come take the number 2 spot from you, so you're pretty much guaranteed one of the top one of the top 3, so 2 or 3, because clearly not 1, right? Quarterbacks coming into the draft. Might as well. They've probably been shopping around. They've just been keeping it quiet. We haven't heard much from it, so makes sense. Who knows? Now, I do also want to disclose that the order I gave you is the order that it's set in right now, okay? But let me make it clear that that's not normal that it stays the same. There's always somebody that moved up. There's usually some surprises. People always get people that we're not expecting them to get. Picking a perfect draft order is the same as picking a perfect, close to. I don't know the specific statistics on this, but I'm pretty sure it's very close to picking a perfect March Madness bracket. First of all, no one's ever had a perfect March Madness bracket, so there's more options of ways that things go. But what I'm trying to get at is that the draft is so unpredictable. People move up that you didn't expect to move up. If you're not someone like me who's already researching this, you didn't know that certain people didn't have picks. You don't know that certain teams didn't have a pick anyway because they had because of a trade they made 1, 2, 3 years ago. But again, this is just if everything's pretty much in order, what should happen. And then in some of these mock drafts, like McShay's, he has the third being having Carolina Panthers trade up. Okay, so he's saying the Carolina Panthers trade up to get that spot from the Dolphins because the Dolphins have 2. But I'm gonna give you what one site says. They believe that Jamar Chase is going there. And then the one that believes that the Carolina Panthers are moving up, they believe the Carolina Panthers are moving up to get Justin Fields. All right. Now, okay. Cool. Justin Fields, Jamar Chase. I think it'll be more important, honestly, though, for the Dolphins to get Jamar Chase than them getting a trade to the Panthers, because there's really no one the Panthers can give the Dolphins that would be of that stature, that I believe. And Jamar Chase, it's a good chance, won't make it to the number 8 pick if the Dolphins trade with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers getting Justin Fields. Yeah, I think they'll miss out on that opportunity if they stay at 8. But at the same time, there are a couple other quarterbacks, really just maybe one that I think will fit with the Carolina Panthers. But I'll talk about that when we get to him, because he'll definitely be drafted in the first round. But that's what those look like. Those two. I like Jamar Chase at the Dolphins. Playing with Tua, those two could be electric. It'd be really cool to watch. So I'd like to watch that. That'd be interesting for me personally. That's my personal goal opinion. All right. Now, this one gets interesting because now I got my drafts I'm looking at got different people. Now, what everybody's kind of agreeing with looks like here is that at number 4, the Atlanta Falcons are getting a quarterback. Like, I guess they're done with Matt Ryan. I haven't heard them give out no press conference. I haven't heard Matt Ryan talking about retiring or them saying that they're looking for offers to trade him or anything of that nature. Excuse me. But, hey, I think it's pretty obvious to us all that ship is about sailed. It's time for someone new to come be the face and take Atlanta back to its glory. I mean, yeah, they just went to the Super Bowl not too long ago, a couple years ago, but they didn't win it. They blew it pretty badly. But, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady, does Tom Brady things. But, okay, so one of my mock drafts have them selecting Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State. The other have quarterback Justin Fields out of Ohio State. 2 good picks, 2 top quarterbacks. Now, this is the one that I said I'll talk to when I get to. I believe that Justin Fields would do better in an Atlanta jersey. Okay? Rock with me here, okay? Think about it. Like, we're almost going back to, like, some Mike Vick days. All right? Him scrambling out there, making runs for it when need be, him staying in the pocket, throwing dimes to Julio Jones. It could be quite a sight to see. On the other side, Trey Lance, this was the individual I said that, hey, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get him at 8, but I'd like to see him at, Carolina. That's someone we know what they're going for there, what they're trying to do. It's a little bit different from the past few quarterbacks that they've had there, Cam and Teddy and everyone, and really trying to push for Deshaun. So if they don't get Deshaun, what are they gonna do? In that position, they seem like they're ready to move on from Teddy Bridgewater. Makes sense. I don't know. We're definitely gonna have to watch that one closely and see. Because that right there, that Atlanta, Carolina fight to the finish, that one's going to be interesting. Someone definitely might move up around there. Just to, I don't have anyone on the inside, so I don't know who wants who more, but that's what it's looking like, okay? Now, number 5 pick, Bengals have O-line need, so looks like my mock drafts all have the same individual, who is Penei Sewell out of Oregon. Good pick, good solid pick. They, just need somebody to protect Joe. Joe's back there getting beat up to the point that he got injured and was out for the season. So, protect Joe. Number 6, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, 2 different picks here again. One has them picking receiver Devontae Smith out of Alabama. Okay. The other has them selecting Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. Now, the reason this one's weird is because, Zach Ertz, were they expected to release him or trade him or something? Zach Ertz is very efficient. I don't know if Kyle Pitts would be the answer there. Why not just keep, Zach? But, on the other end, looking at them getting Devontae Smith, kind of reminds me of what they were doing with Deshaun Jackson, maybe. Getting that speed outside receiver, guy that could be outside the numbers. You come in and slide. Crossing routes, be a distraction, be whatever you need him to be. Interesting. And then on top of that, him playing with also former Alabama star in Jalen Hurts. Okay. I'm interested. I'm very interested, but definitely looks like they'll select someone for an offensive weapon. All right. Now the Lions at number 7. One has him selecting Jamar Chase. So of course, this isn't the one that had Jamar Chase going to the Dolphins. Got Jamar Chase, the wide receiver out of LSU. The other has them selecting Trey Lance, North Dakota State, quarterback. Okay, so this is why I said again, it could be very interesting seeing if the Panthers are going to move up for who they want, for who they need. All right, we'll see. Are they getting? I mean, they just got Goff. So me personally, I think they're going to run Goff. I don't think they're going to draft one of the top quarterbacks, especially not on the first round and sit in the back. It isn't like Detroit's been making runs in the playoffs. They need weapons now. So I definitely think them getting a receiver sounds like it makes more sense to me as well. Now, will it be Jamar Chase? Or will it be Devontae Smith if he didn't actually get picked? Me personally, who, again, I'm unbiased, so I don't have a favorite team, but I do have players that I enjoy watching. I personally wouldn't want to see either of them in Detroit until they get better. But we will see. All right. Number 8. Number 8 is the original spot for the Panthers. So on the draft that does not move them up, the Panthers at number 8 selects tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. As you see, Kyle Pitts is definitely top in business of where he might be going. You know, he would be in the top 10, one of the top 2 as far as offensive weapons between him, Devontae Smith, and Jamar Chase, as we see. But yeah, so we got him going to Carolina on 1 at 8, and then the one where Carolina moved up swapped with the Dolphins. They have the Dolphins selecting Devontae Smith. I like Devontae Smith in Miami for the exact same reason I liked as earlier said that I like Jamar Chase in Miami. Okay, so excited to see which way that goes. Number 9, we have the Broncos. Broncos need a little more help on defense. You saw earlier, if you paid attention to my earlier picks and stuff, that they were already signing defensive players, trying to make some moves, re-signing people, things of that nature, keeping that defense strong. But we got them on 1, picking up Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. Okay, and on the other one, we have a trade. Again, this one's one. I want to have one that was predicting trades that could possibly happen because I want to make it almost seem a little more realistic as well, or more interesting. Another one is a trade that is with the San Francisco 49ers for the position, and they select Mac Jones. Okay, now that one, okay, put you on display because, you know, Jimmy G, that means something for him. That means he's definitely going somewhere. All right, and he didn't go to the Patriots, so where would Jimmy be going? Not sure. Keep an eye on that. But, hey, defensive Caleb Farley, I think that's a good pick for them. Number 10 is Cowboys, and I think this is one that is more than likely set in stone. I've heard it from Cowboy fans. I heard it from analysts that keep up with the Cowboys a lot, and it's also here on the mock draft that they both agree that at number 10, that pick for the Cowboys will be Patrick Surtain Jr., cornerback out of Alabama. Hey, they got rid of Awuzie and Lewis. They only signed back one. Diggs is new. I can see them get another young guy over there. They got the weapons on offense. We see that. So clearly they need more on defense. That makes sense to me. Patrick gets there and do them justice, if you ask me. All right. Number 11, both also agree that the Giants will select wide receiver from Alabama, Jalen Waddle. I'm a Jalen Waddle fan. I like him. I hate that he was injured in the championship. And I hope he's more than healthy come the season and blows it up. If he is in New York, cool. It gives me more reason to watch him, especially if he gets to, you know, be that good outside threat to help out the team in the play action when it comes to when everybody gets healthy over there, okay? Now, number 12 was originally San Francisco, but remember one of the draft that I have with trades available have that being the Broncos. But the catch is that they also still have the Broncos getting Caleb Farley. So, hey, they both agree on that's who their first round pick is going to be. Now, for San Francisco being at number 12, that mock draft has Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Don't know much about him, but hey, you're getting drafted in the first round, especially as an offensive tackle. That means you're doing something big. He's 6'3", 305 pounds. I don't see why not. Hey, I love when offensive guys are getting drafted. I love seeing them get paid. And that offensive line, it's an important position, if not top 2. Quarterback, then offensive line, if you ask me. Okay, number 13, Los Angeles Chargers. We have them on the trade one, so not the ones that just said that someone else got him, but Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. He must be the best old tackle because he's going first and in the position on both of my boards. The other one has them getting an offensive tackle still, but it'll be Christian Darso, who is from Virginia Tech. 6'5", 313. Ooh, big solid boy. All right. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Like, again, someone else that I haven't seen much from, but hey, I put respect on their names. I don't ever want to talk down or make it seem like we're ignoring the O-lineman, okay? Number 14th pick to the Minnesota Vikings. We have them either picking D-end out of Michigan, Kwity Paye, or Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC, who is an interior O-lineman. All right, so either way, they're either going to get, a pass rusher or someone to protect passer. Get somebody on that O-line. Makes more sense to me. Number 15 is an interesting pick because it will be the Patriots pick, which we've seen what they've been doing. Will they go offense? Will they go defense? What are they going to do? Cam's not promised a position, so do they got quarterback? This drew at one of my mock drafts say Mac Jones, the one that didn't have Mac Jones going earlier, says he will be going. Oh, actually, the one that didn't have him going earlier in the draft has him falling to 15, going to the Patriots, and I guess if becoming Patriots starting quarterback if possible. If not, then he'll be back up to Cam Newton. Interesting. The other have them selecting linebacker out of Penn State, Micah Parsons. Makes sense to me. We're getting people back like Dante Hightower and things this season that opted out last year. So he'll be around some great people. We'll see what he'll do. It's a similar position that New England did with Jared Mayo back in 2008 when Teddy Bruschi passed him the torch. So we will see what happens there. Excuse me. Okay. Now, number 16. Very interesting pick that I'm going to be interested in because it's the Cardinals. And we see what they're building on. Will they go offense? Will they go defense? I believe both mocks agree that they are going defense. They're going for cornerback J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. I think that's a good pick for them. Help them move forward. Number 17 pick goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay. And we got two different picks for them on these two different charts. But we do have them both going for some strong arms, strong body, strong men. On one case, it's the offensive lineman out of Penn State, Micah Parsons, the one I just mentioned before on another chart. And on that one that already had him gone off the board, they have them getting linebacker out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu. Okay. Yeah. I think linebacker is great. I don't remember hearing about them having issues on the O-line this past season. So, go defense. Number 18, which originally is the Dolphins. Yeah, this was where they landed. Okay. So, we have them on the chart that he's not already taken on, getting Elijah Vera, the guard, getting somebody to protect Tua. Or getting an edge rusher with Kwity Paye out of Michigan again. So that's for the ones that have them. You kind of see who all are the top prospects in their positions and where they'll be going. Number 19, Washington football team will either pick the number one receiver out of Florida, because he also wore number one, Kadarius Toney. That's one way they could go. And then for the one that doesn't have him gone, Jeremiah Owusu, the outside linebacker out of Notre Dame. Okay. Number 20, Chicago Bears, wide receiver, Minnesota, Rashad Bateman. Or offensive tackle, Virginia Tech, Christian Darso. All right. Number 21, Indianapolis Colts. One believes that they can go for. They both agree actually. Both agree that Gregory Rousseau, the DN out of Miami. They need an edge rusher. I did mention some of their earlier picks. That would be a good pickup to add to that team. Okay. Number 22, the one that doesn't have him already gone, Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver out of Florida, going to the Titans. On the other hand, where he's already gone, they have him getting Jalen Phillips, the DN out of Miami. Interesting enough. Pick 23, the Jets' second pick. They either get offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, or they get Aziz Ojulari, outside linebacker from Georgia. Now that one is interesting because they get a quarterback earlier, so they switch over to defense, and they need someone to get to the quarterback outside of Quentin Williams. So, all right, yeah, get a speed linebacker because I believe he is also an edge rusher, handling his business that way. That'd be a good move for them. 24, Najee Harris. That's who I see that both mock drafts agree. Running back out of Alabama will go to Pittsburgh Steelers. Najee Harris. Now, what does that mean for James Conner? He's heading toward free agency, but he was a pusher. He was a runner, a pretty good runner at that. So interesting to see that. Okay, next, both of them agree that Trayvon Moehrig, the safety, I believe he's the top ranked safety coming out of TCU, is going to go to the Jaguars. Yeah, that's their pick that they got from the Rams. Makes sense to me. Again, another team getting a quarterback at first, then putting somebody on defense on the opposite side. Cool. Number 26 pick, the Cleveland Browns. One has them selecting outside linebacker out of Tulsa, Zaven Collins. Interesting enough. Okay. The other is defense D lineman out of Alabama, Christian Barmore. Ooh, now that's a good one. That guy, just imagine him being on the line with Myles Garrett. That's going to be tough to beat right there. Number 27, the Ravens have them either getting the edge rusher Aziz Ojulari, and for the draft that already hasn't gone, they have them getting the receiver out of LSU, Terrence Marshall Jr. Now, I don't think the other board has Terrence going in the first round, but this one do, so that'll be interesting to see who they actually go with. All right. Number 28 belongs to the New Orleans Saints, and we have them for the board that doesn't have Marty going, getting edge rusher Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. The other have them getting Joe Tyron, the DN out of Washington. So both agree that they need a little more help with the rushing. Cam Jordan isn't getting it done by himself. He wants a little assistant. They did lose Trey Hickerson, and I don't think he's getting old. Cam Jordan's 32, turns 32 this year. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what goes on. Once we get to this point, it's just like, who are they getting to complement the team? We know what's going on with Drew Brees retiring and stuff like that. But, pretty much 22 up to 32, those 10 picks are like, what are they going to use to complement those teams to get them to the next level, to get, especially 22 through 30, those teams to get them to the Super Bowl, things of that nature, right? Number 29, Green Bay Packers. With them last year selecting a quarterback, even though they had an MVP this year as a quarterback. One draft had them selecting defensive tackle out of Washington, Levi Onwuzurike. Sorry if I butchered your name, buddy. But that would be interesting, just, because don't they want to get some more weapons? Should they go for, one of the top receivers in Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota, or even Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss? Running backs, possibly Aaron Jones. They did re-sign him, but do they want to get Travis Etienne? So he can probably be one that they could rotate. Help Aaron Jones out a little bit there, quite possibly. The other draft have them getting offensive tackle Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. 6'5", 319-pound Jalen Mayfield at that. I think Aaron would like that. Either way it go, they should definitely get offensive weapons or someone to protect Aaron. All right. Number 30, Buffalo Bills. Struggle trying to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. So they definitely want somebody that's going to make a difference. Either someone that can get at the quarterback, and one of them having Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami, and opposite having someone in the backfield, getting Travis Etienne. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his name. Running back out of Clemson. I think both will actually help get that done, to be honest. I have nothing negative to say about either choice. I'm interested in seeing either one. Okay. 31st, which belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. What can the Kansas City Chiefs do? What do they need to do? They need to improve their offensive line after, getting rid of people. So one draft has them going to Samuel Cosmi out of Texas. Okay. I think that's a good one. The other has them going for a linebacker out of Missouri, Nick Bolton. I do know who Nick Bolton is, and I think he's good. I just don't think he should go to Kansas City. And last, who would help to add to the possible Super Bowl champion running it back yet again with Tom Brady and Tampa Bay? Well, I have them, one, giving you an inside linebacker in Jamin Davis out of Kentucky, which they just re-signed Levante David and got Devin White. Doubtful. The other having them get an edge rusher, Jason Owe, Penn State, which we still haven't heard what they're doing with Ndamukong Suh. So quite possibly. I think both drafts have some fair options. I'm interested to see. I know you guys are interested to see. But like I said, you don't count on none of this, to be honest. If one of these are right, then oh my gosh, we could talk about that. But I seriously doubt it. Someone's going to move we don't expect to move. Somebody's going to draft people we don't expect to draft at all. But it'll be interesting to watch, which I'll be tuning in April 29th. All right, next month. Everybody check it out on ESPN. It's been time for a quick break. We're going to take a commercial break and then get into our last segment. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some fun facts, give you stuff that most people don't know unless you just, for whatever reason, keep up stats. So stay tuned. Be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back again. What a show so far. I hope you enjoyed the break. Hope you enjoyed the show up until this point. We talked about everybody who's getting signed those first couple of days, mostly to the Patriots for some reason. They would decide to spend so much money. So I had to give them their whole own segment and then call out myself for everything I said last episode about maybe them possibly being washed. Bill heard me and decided to shut me up, I guess. And then also in the last segment discussed my little mock draft, a little about the draft coming up next month. Well, of course, we'll talk about it a lot more as we get closer. But who's going in that first round? What teams we're looking for? So now we're on to some fun. I was able to come across a great site that had some great fun facts. Shout out to NFL Fun Facts. And I found just a couple on there just to make sure it was legit. And they were pretty interesting. Some of them funny, some of them just like, I can't believe it. Some of them might even blow your mind. So I just want to sit here and just have a whole segment about us talking about them. So it'll give us all a chance to learn things that are new and, be a little entertained at the same time. All right. So let's get started. It is starting from most recent because I guess they update them as things happen. So you'll hear some that are sound more recent versus ones that might be like, that sound like that happened during the season or even before the season. But here they are. All right. So Fun fact number 1. Did you know the Chicago Bears Super Bowl odds went from 40-1 to a 50-1 odd after they got Andy Dalton? Like, dang, that what does that say? Like, oh, Andy Dalton there? Bet they're not winning nothing. Like, how'd the chances get worse? You think they would have been the same, to be honest. Like, are they trying to... Is Vegas or whoever trying to say Mitch Trubisky's better? Who knows? A good stat about Jonnu Smith, who just went to the Patriots. He himself had more red zone touchdowns than the Patriots did as a team last season. So, he had 8, they had 7. Interesting. Another good one. Check this one out. Nelson Aguilar, who also just went to the Patriots, has 6 receiving touchdowns that are 20-plus yards this season. Only person to have more than him is Tyreek Hill, which obviously, who has 8. Another good one. Will Lutz, the kicker for the Saints, has scored more points in a player's first 5 seasons than anyone in NFL history. Doesn't tell me how many, but that's still very impressive. Here's a good one. Russell Wilson has been a top 5 sack quarterback every year of his career, except his rookie year. He was number 6. So, I guess that's, playing on hearing about him complain about getting sacked. So, as you can see, I guess that complaint was warranted. All right. In the common draft era, which started in 1967, only 5 schools have had 50-plus players selected in the first round of the NFL draft. USC was 71, Ohio State was 71, Miami with 60, Alabama 58. I'm surprised they're not number 1, and Florida at 51. Well, I guess when you think about it, Alabama's been more of a powerhouse the last, decade and a half or so. So they're making their way up there. They're definitely going to beat the record. If they're going to continue the next couple of years, they'll pass up Miami, Ohio State, and USC. Ohio State still get it done. Miami's trying. USC kind of fell off, to be honest, but they were definitely those people back then. All right. Only 2 players in NFL history have 1,000 plus tackles, 20 sacks, and 10 interceptions through their first 8 seasons. Who are they? Levante David and Ray Lewis. Levante David was going back to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Hey, I would have paid him too. That boy's a beast. All right. Dan Marino faced Peyton Manning more times in his career, which was 4, than he faced John Elway, which is 3. And, those were the crossing of errors. So, that's cool to know. Just a fun one. Only one NFL receiver has hit 1,200 yards from scrimmage in each of the last 2 seasons. That's DJ Moore with the Panthers. Cool. In the Super Bowl era, 3 teams finished a season having lost all of their games. The 76 Bucks, the 08 Lions, and the 17 Browns. All 3 of them made it back to the postseason 3 years later, which we just saw the Browns do. That's dope. I'm glad to hear that, I guess. Let's see what else we got here. Since 2010, every NFC South team has made a Super Bowl, while every AFC South team has held the first pick. Wow. Now that is interesting. So Saints, Bucks, making it happen for the NFC South. They did AFC South. I know the Texans have had a couple first picks for sure. We used to know that the Jaguars have one this year. Not surprised at all. Colts when they got Andrew Luck. Wow. Okay. Hold on. Let me find another funny one because I've seen some funny ones. Let's see. Let's try this one. Okay, so David Carr was sacked 249 times in his 5 seasons with the Texans. Peyton Manning in 18 seasons was sacked 300 times. See, that just says a lot about the Texans. They got to get Deshaun out there before he gets hurt. It's getting out of hand. It's definitely getting out of hand. Oh, here goes Tom Brady. Anything with Tom Brady, you got to read. Since Tom Brady entered the league during the 2000 NFL season, not a single player has won the MVP award and Super Bowl in the same season. Tom Brady's teams Tom Brady's teams have eliminated 8 of the MVPs from the postseason. Are you surprised? I think not. Makes sense to me. That's what Tom does. Tom is a beast. Tom is Tom. Tom got rid of Aaron Rodgers this past season. Dang. Okay. Moving on. Another Tom one. Tom Brady, who is 43, is the first player age 40 plus to win championship game, series MVP in any of the 4 major North American professional sports. Okay, I think that's one most of us knew. Let's go to this one though. The 2016 Patriots had more starting quarterbacks 3 than interceptions thrown 2. Yikes. Okay. With the trade of Carson Wentz, there will now not be a single QB drafted in the first round from 2009 to 2016 that is still with his original team. I was about to say Deshaun Watson came in 17. Yeah, 0 out of 22 total. Dang. Now that's a good fun fact. A lot of people might not know that one. Oh, here goes another Russell Wilson sack one. Russell Wilson has been sacked 100 more times than any other QB since he entered the league in 2012. Poor Russell, he's been sacked 441 times. That I don't even want to laugh. I kind of feel bad. Like, help that guy out, man. And that's being said with him winning the Super Bowl and taking his team to another Super Bowl. And like, help him out, please. Okay. The last time Patrick Mahomes started and lost a game by more than 1 score was November 19, 2016, when he was at Texas Tech and lost 66-10 at Iowa State. So, 5 years ago almost. Yikes. That's crazy. All right. In 2012, the Chiefs went 2-14 with 10 losses by more than 1 possession. Since Andy Reid took over in 2013, they've gone 98-42. With only 9 total losses by more than 1 possession. Wow, not that. Hold on, let's talk about that. Since 2013, only 9 total losses by more than 1 possession. That means they were in the game for every game they played. Hold on, no, I'm gonna do the math. 3. Yeah, so that means they were in the. Well, I guess when you talk about we're just talking about losing, because I was about to add it to the win column as well. But goodness gracious, they really been out there doing it like that. I didn't even know. Like, the Chiefs kind of, before Mahomes got there, I mean, they were just another team. I mean, they just played and saw what they could do. They'd win some, they'd lose some. They never really at the bottom, but they definitely weren't really at the top. Wow, I'm impressed. All right. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. It's been more than 20 years since either of the NFL rushing leader, Terrell Davis in 98, or the NFL receiving leader, Jerry Rice in 94, won the Super Bowl. The NFL passing leader has never won the Super Bowl. Ding. Well, I guess we'll see that change in the next few years. That's for sure. People going up there and getting all of those records. Won't be surprised at all. Okay, so I think I said this one. Nope, this is a new one. Drew Brees once had a 3-season stretch where he threw for a combined 128 touchdowns and 15,815 yards. That's a lot. He was up there. That's great. Josh Allen now has 17 wins in Buffalo. Oh, this was the past season. He had 17 wins in Buffalo, which is the most for a quarterback since 2000, breaking a tie with Tom Brady, because even though he didn't play in Buffalo, Tom Brady would always whoop on Buffalo. Makes sense. Tom Brady has tied Drew Brees after he played Drew Brees in the playoffs with 8 playoff wins against NFC opponents. Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack are the only players with over 500 quarterback pressures since 2014. Mack has 504. Donald has 579. That's crucial. Like, those are some. That's why Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack are getting paid the way they're getting paid, because they get back there and disrupt everything. Double teamed or not, them boys is trouble. Okay, like with a capital shrub. Issues. All right. Hey, let's get us another good one here. Okay, I like this one because Andre Johnson used to be one of my favorite players when he was in the league. The fine Andre Johnson got was from his notorious fight with Cortland Finnegan, was paid for by different players around the league who also hated Finnegan. Now that's entertaining. I'm not mad at that at all. Everybody didn't like him. You need some money? I got you, bro. Here you go. Dang, that's great. Everybody that's watched football for years now, everyone recalls that fight, and he had it coming to him too. So we're not even mad. Okay, Devontae Adams finished the 2020 regular season with more touchdowns, which was 18, than Mason Crosby field goal attempts, 16. Cool. So he scored more than the kicker. That boy was getting in the end zone. Okay. If you took away Derrick Henry's 4 best rushing performances by yards this season, the 4 best were 250-yard game, 217, 212, 178. He still would have finished second in the NFL in rushing. Hey, Titans be running, especially with him. Like, I'm not even mad at it. All right, history one. Back in the day, in a 1980 game against the Dolphins, Jets kicker Pat Lee. All right, that's what I'm going with. Lee was told by the head coach Walt Michaels that if he missed the kick, he would be cut. So he made the field goal and wound up having an 18-year career with the Jets, finishing as the 3rd leading scorer in NFL history. That's dope. I like that. I really do. Let's see. This is a good one. Let's see. Dak Prescott has 13 total touchdowns this past season in 5 games. Daniel Jones had 10. Has 10 total touchdowns in this season in 13 games. Wait, what is that? Okay, that one wasn't interesting. That was a blunder. Alvin Kamara had as many rushing touchdowns in one day when he went for the 6th as Jets running backs in the whole season. Not surprised there. I mean, that performance he put on. Hey, if you had him on your fantasy team, you might have fallen in love. He might be your 1st round pick come the next season. I'm pretty sure. Won't be surprised if I see that. Especially being that, we might be having a lot of check downs with the quarterback situation they have in New Orleans now. Okay. Let's see. I want a better one. Jalen Hurts was the first player in NFL history with 500 passing yards and 150 rushing yards in his first 2 career starts. Not surprised there. We saw what he did once he got on that field. All right. 10. Okay, now this one, I like this. 10 games in NFL history have seen a QBR of 99.5 or better. Lamar Jackson has 4. That's the one you take to the party right there. You go tell somebody there's been 10 games in NFL history where the QBR has been 99.5 or better. Who currently in the league owns 4 of them? And make them take a shot or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you guys do, whatever the punishment is, until they get it right. Don't even give them the answer, because that's a good one. I like that one. Good for you, Lamar. Good for you. Let's see. Joe Montana led the NFL with a 61.3 completion percentage in the 1985 season. 61.3% would be 33rd this year. So what does that tell you? Joe Montana, 1985, prime, 33rd this year, means the quarterbacks are only getting better. Only getting better. And that's dope. I like seeing it get better. I mean, technology and all that stuff is getting better, but hey, nah, that's cool. Hey, the last time the last time before 2020 that the Patriots lost 7 games in a season, Sean McVay was a junior high school. Sean McVay, the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. So that is interesting. This past season, the Green Bay Packers had become the first franchise in NFL history to reach 800 total wins, regular season and playoffs. Not surprised, they've been doing it for a long time. They've been there since the beginning. So, cool for them. History, here we go. In the Bears' 73-0 win over, Jesus Christ, the Redskins in the 1940 championship, the Bears kicked 6 successful point after touchdowns with 5 different kickers, 3 of whom were linemen. Okay. Now, why was that the championship game? Hold on, we might just pause and go look up how many teams were in the league in 1940. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. All right. Now this one, I don't know how they came up with it, but statistically, Kendall Hinton, who was playing quarterback when Broncos were struggling for quarterback, he had his best chance of winning was to throw a Hail Mary on every play. Now, I don't know how the heck they calculated that, but that is interesting to know. It'd be like imagine if they came to them in the back and was like, hey, we did the math. Best way for you guys to win? Hail Mary, every play. Every play. First down, second down, third down, fourth down. It don't matter. No matter what yardage. Hail Mary, every play. Okay? That's interesting. Okay. I'll buy it. I would love to see the math on that, but I'll buy it. Okay. Only 2 QBs in NFL history have thrown for 3,000 yards over their first 10 career starts. I think that's a fair. Now, this is a fair fun fact that you can take to the party. I think this one, you got a chance to get them or not. Now, it's like, who are the two? One being Justin Herbert, who just had a phenomenal rookie year. Okay. The other one being Pat Mahomes. Yep. When he came in there and started, hey, I mean, yeah, the career, I'm not surprised at all. Okay. That's just to see if you really been watching football, I guess. Okay. Let's get back on Kendall Hinton real quick. The last pass Kendall Hinton threw in a game was October 6th, 2018. He was 0-5 in a 63-3 loss to Clemson. So back when he was in college, when they end up putting him in, because remember he's a receiver that they had to play quarterback. So he was in a unique situation, I guess. And also, the last time a non-quarterback started for an NFL team in the regular season or in playoffs was in 1965 when running back Tom made a pair of starts for the Colts. Okay, I like that one. Jim Brown is the only player in NFL history with more touchdowns than games played in his career. Didn't give me the number on that, but that's good to know. Jim Brown, stay handling his business. All right. Cam Jordan is the first player to sack an individual quarterback 20 times. He has sacked Matt Ryan 21. Matt Ryan must hate that guy. With a passion, I bet. All right. Taysom Hill is older than Brock Osweiler, who just retired after an 8-year NFL career, and he also has 55 fewer career passing attempts than Jack Ludden, who played in his first NFL game 2 weeks ago. Noted. Come on, let me finish this off strong. Let me find one good one that I really like, and we'll bring this on home. I hope you guys are learning a lot, man. Like, I know I am. This is some interesting stuff for sure. Okay, I like this one. Let's go with this. We're talking Alabama. And in the NFL, okay? The University of Alabama, being this season, once Tua started, officially has started at all 22 NFL positions. So, during the season, with Tua starting, because they didn't have anyone that was at quarterback, every position, all 22 positions, both sides of the ball, all 11, Alabama players starting. Look, like I said earlier, we know which direction this is going. Absolutely. Now there are thousands of fun facts. So to be honest, I'm gonna start collecting, and we're gonna do this every now and then. Maybe like every other episode. Should I do this every Thursday episode, every Monday episode? Or every episode? Nah. We'll see. They'll come and go. I'll definitely let you know ahead of time. But hey, that's all I got for you today. It's been a good time. I really enjoyed this episode. I hope you did as well. Please give feedback, subscribe. I love getting your comments. I really appreciate you. We all appreciate you for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Like I said, subscribe, write, send emails, write reviews, give me a little feedback as well. I know I'm still new and working on a lot of things, but I love to hear back from everyone. Also, if you can, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, GSMC_football. Thank you. Good night, good morning, good evening, everyone. Have a great time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.